Since you're listening to a show called Cure for Pod Fade, I know that you find yourself not motivated sometimes. Do you have strategies and tools and tricks to keep yourself motivated when you feel like fading out, when you feel like nothing's working, when you're totally burnt out? So how do you do it? How do you keep yourself inspired and engaged so that your podcast doesn't just disappear? Well, today I want to talk to you about some ways to keep yourself motivated when there is no motivation or energy to be found. Are you ready? Let's go. Welcome to the Cure for Pod Fade. I am so excited you found your way here because that means you know how powerful podcasting can be. You are ready to build a legacy with your unique story, your message, and your offer, but you're getting a little overwhelmed. You're feeling frustrated, you're feeling stuck. You just don't know how to grow your show, find a new audience, and make some money. Podcasting can be the ticket to the life of your dreams, and it doesn't have to be as hard as you think. We're talking about all the ingredients it takes to be a successful, profitable podcaster without that icky overwhelm, because you are too magical to join the 85% plus club that pod fades away. I'm your host, Jen Dragonette, so let's make podcasting easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay, so you want to stick around because you know this podcasting thing can really pay off. And you don't need these giant numbers to really make an impact. But motivation is at zero. Energy is at zero. Now what do? What are the strategies you're currently using to stay motivated? So some of the challenges that you may be coming across is that you have taken on too much. Maybe you started your show and you started out with the great intention of having 3 episodes a week. Then it went to 2. Then it went to 1. Now you're maybe making it every other one because you find that you are so blocked. You're burnt out. You feel like you don't have the time, or maybe you can't find the right guests. Or maybe you found a ton of guests and you're so sick of interviewing and talking to those same people over and over and over again because your topic, your theme for your podcast is no longer inspiring for you. And if that's where you're at, you're sick of having the same interview with the same guest and the same topic, I suggest you go back to episode number 54 with Travis, where he talked about rebranding his show to reignite his passion, because this is a huge thing that comes up. Yeah, we can get burnt out. We can get so incredibly stuck in a rut because we have talked about the same things over and over again. Or maybe you're just blocked about your current content. Well, maybe it's time to bring on a guest and shake things up a little bit. And that guest could also be a coaching call. Hint, hint. So how can you make a bigger impact? How can you keep this motivation? One of the things I want you to do is, this is one of the great times that ratings and reviews will actually be helpful for you. If you have any ratings and reviews and you are feeling zero motivation, go check those bad boys out, because I can guarantee you if somebody took the time to give you a rating and review, it's because you made an impact on their life. And how does it feel to make that impact? Or maybe you got a social media message or an email, or somebody walked up to you and knew you or recognized you and said, hey, this is a huge impact that you've made on me. I know for me, I was just editing an episode for one of my podcasts, one of my clients, and they were talking about how someone had actually come up to them that was having suicidal ideations, and because they listened to the show, they felt inspired. I also had that conversation with Dave Jackson on episode 71 about it's not just about the numbers. It's not just about the numbers of downloads, your bank account, all those things. There is some serious therapeutic benefits in this. So if you are feeling frustrated and like you have no energy, you could be really, really stuck in the details. Maybe you're spending too much time editing. Maybe you haven't had a chance to check out some of the cool AI tools that help you mix and master or help you write content. Maybe you're not clear, or maybe you've lost sight of your vision, of your passion, of your why. Some of the tips that I have for you to stay motivated is to come back to center, to come back to the why, to set a clear goal of like, why are you doing this? What is your goal with this podcast? And if it's just to make money, let me tell you, that motivation and that energy will run out really quickly. You need to have a why that's an internal. Maybe it's that one person that you saved, that maybe it's that one person that was able to do something, having that motivation. It's also okay to take a pause. It is scary as hell to take a pause. Again, check out Travis's episode. He was podcasting. He preaches consistency. Yet he took a 2-month break from his show to recollect his thoughts after, I think he said 5 years of having the show out. He took a pause, rebranded, and came out with this new fire. It might be time to do that. It might be time to start thinking about your podcast as a valuable asset and schedule time for it. And actually say, this is my time that I'm doing this, and stick to it. Make it a priority. Might be time that if you have the funds to hire someone like me that's a podcast manager and figure out, okay, this works, this doesn't work. You do the editing. All I need to do is record, send it over, and takes care of it. Maybe it's time for you to kill your show. That is another thing, is we try to push through. And if it's actually something that's not going to come back, is it time to kill your podcast? Episode 66 might help you there. So how do you stay motivated? How do you make yourself keep going? Well, again, you've got to figure out the why you're not feeling motivated. Maybe again, look at, is it the back end? Is it the editing and the putting out the content? Because I get it. It's overwhelming. I'm editing between 17 and 27 episodes a week for between my shows and my client shows. It's a lot. But that's my full-time job. It's maybe not your full-time job. You are probably a healer, a coach with a specific service. Somebody has a specific product. That your main job is that thing, not your marketing efforts on your podcast. But if you can streamline some of the back end with AI, so many great AI programs. If you're using it for copy, I seriously CapShow 2.0, boom, wow, oh my goodness, saved me hours and hours of time. But like I told you, I edit a lot of shows every week. But I really want you to start thinking about that. I want you to start looking around and finding inspiration from other podcasts, books. Get out and go to an event. For me, I was seriously losing motivation for the Cure for Pod Fade. I've lost motivation for my Feed Your Business with Love podcast, which I now know the motivation is lost because I need to do a rebrand of it. It's been pretty close to the same thing for the last 3 years, and I've changed in the last 3 years. Who hasn't, right? But going to that podcasting event, seeing how many people were excited about podcasts, listening to podcasts, and hearing all the amazing stuff that came out of it, I really want you to find a way to be inspired. Then I want you to, once you've reestablished that inspiration, I want you to really think about each task, whether that's interviewing guests, setting up interviews, editing, scheduling, sharing, whatever the task is. And I want you to break it down into bite-sized nuggets that you can actually manage. So maybe that looks like once a month, you do all of your recording on one day. Like you just block off a day, you tell your family, this is my recording day. You record all your interviews, all your solo episodes, and you do it all. Then maybe you're like, I no longer want to write copy from a blank page. So you find an AI program. Remember, when you use AI, please tweak them. Don't just copy and paste. It doesn't work. And if you're using something like ChatGPT, know that it's not coming from your actual words. It's coming from something from the internet. So no, that's not accurate. So edit. But I want you to start trying some different things, trying some different formats. Maybe you need to change up your show. Maybe your show is an hour-long interview. Change it up. Do it short interviews. Do solos. Try a 7-day something series. You'll be seeing that at the end of May. I'm going to be doing a 7-day Revive Your Podcast series, and it's going to be short episodes. Not that you don't always get short episodes, between 10 and 15 minutes for solos and 30 minutes for my guests. But start changing it up. Feel what feels good. Get on some other shows. Find some people that inspire you. That's one of the hardest things, is that if you have not surrounded yourself with other podcasters and other people in this crazy entrepreneurship space, you get lost. You feel alone. You feel like you're the only one stuck doing this. And that's not the case. So I invite you to really look at your why behind your podcast and find what is blocking you and find a way to create the space to reestablish the love you had for this show. If you're here, that means you've been podcasting for a while. That means that you are making sure that you don't fade out because you know this is important. But it always does come back to that statement of like, why are you doing this? What's inspiring you? How can you get that inner fire back? How can you motivate yourself? So it's critical to stay motivated and energized. And it's hard. It's hard